Morgan from Quilter's Palette, and Quilter's Palette is located in Prentice, Alberta, just outside of Calgary. And I'm here today, I'm going to share with you how to draw out the Love's Blossom pattern. It's a very popular pattern, yet people seem to stumble on about how to draw it out. So I'm going to show you hopefully a relatively easy way to tackle it. Before we get to that though, there's a lot going on, so I really wanted to get everybody up to date without having to write out a whole long newsletter. I've got a ton of classes coming up, so I'm gonna cheat here and check my notes, otherwise I will forget someone. Next week I'm going to be in Salmon Arm. Those registrations, it's closed, but if you want to sneak into the Salmon Arm class, we can probably get you in if you get a hold of me this weekend or sooner. After that, I will be in Drayton Valley at the end of August. There are 4 or 5 spots, I think, left in that class. Then on August 31st, I'm really excited about this one. We'll be having a class at my sewing room in Calgary. I know there are so many of you in the Calgary area who've been asking for a class. So whether you're in Calgary, Okotoks, High River, super easy to get to my sewing room. It's just off of McLeod Trail, and she's got a wonderful classroom there, so it'll be fun to do a class there. Also, Wawa's Quilts in Bowden, Alberta. They will be hosting actually 2 classes, one in September and one in October. One's on a weekend and one's on a weekday. So we're hoping we'll be able to accommodate everyone's needs that way. Also in September, I'll be on my way up to Ponoka, and the Jelly Roll Shop is hosting us for a class there. That is on September 21st. All of these are on my website. There's still lots of room in those classes, so get online and get registered. In October, we then have a medicine hat class on October 5th. We're currently accepting people to a waiting list because we may put a second class on October 6th. So reach out to me by email. My phone number is on the website too, so you can text me if you like. That's fine. And then the last class for this year will be at the end of October, and that's up in Fort McMurray. And there are a few spots left in that one as well. So the other thing, I've got a few classes that I'm going to, shows that I'm going to. And the reason I want to talk about this is the last few shows that I've done, I have sold out of my primed boards. So I'm bringing lots. Each show I bring more and more. The last one I brought 40 boards to, and they all sold out. So to avoid disappointment, if you are interested in getting a board, let me know ahead of time, and you can even order it online. And when you order it online, instead of shipping, indicate that you want to pick up, and in the notes just put a note that you will pick it up at X show. So the shows that I will be at in August 17th to 18th, I will be at Sunnybrook Farms in Red Deer. So if you place an order up to a week before that, so let's say up to August 10th or 11th, I'll be able to get it together for you for delivery at Red Deer at the Sunnybrook Farms. Then in September 28th and 29th, I will be at the Canadian Rockies Quilt Show, and that's in Canmore. So likewise, order at least a week ahead of time, and then I can have it ready for you. And then the last show that I'll be doing this year is the Black Gold Quilt Show in Leduc, and that is October 18th and 19th. And so yes, send in your order. You can either email me, you can do it online, as I say. If you can't figure out how to change it from shipping to pickup, email me, and then we'll get it squared away for you. The other thing is that I am shipping. So I'm shipping both kits and boards and paint. So if you're not aware, these are the sizes of paints that I carry. I carry a 1 ounce size, it's $2.50, and a 2 ounce size, which is $4.50. So these I can ship up until it starts to freeze. Once the good old Canadian winter hits, then I will have to stop the shipping on these, and you'll have to wait till spring or come and see me, one or the other. So there's that. And then the boards. You can order the boards online, and you can get them unfinished, completely unfinished. So it's aluminum composite material. And this is what the unfinished side would look like. It's just a plastic coating. So you can get them completely unfinished, or you can get them primed one side. Or if you want to do a two-sided, you can ask for two-sided prime. So the 12-inch boards you can order online. It'll calculate the shipping correctly. But try as I might, I cannot get the system to understand that a 2-foot board is an oversized package and it won't calculate the shipping properly. So for those boards, I do ship them. You just need to pop me a note and say, hey, I'd like X number of boards. I need your full address. And then from there, I can calculate the shipping for you. And I found a pretty good provider, so it's not too crazy bad. I've shipped a couple times now packs of 6 boards to Ontario. I've shipped all kinds of boards to northern BC and to the Vancouver Island. So people are taking advantage. I have really reasonable prices on my aluminum as well. And I pack it really well too. I know some people have ordered off of Amazon and whatnot, and then it arrives bent because they don't take the time to pack it. One of the other things you'll find on my website, I'll try and hold this up, is I have a 12-inch kit. So it comes with the board that's primed on one side, and then all the tools you need. So a roll of frog tape, the yellow delicate tape, a ruler, X-Acto knife, an artist brush, 2 smaller brushes, a pencil, a microfiber cloth, and a magic eraser. And if you're not sure what to do with all this stuff, you should take a class. Or not. And if not, then watch my videos, because I will slowly be releasing videos on how to draw patterns, how to paint, and so on. So without any further ado, I will show you how to draw Love's Blossom. Thanks for tuning in. All right, so first I'm going to share with you a couple different variations and just point out some aspects of the Love's Blossom design. So this is, I wouldn't say traditional, but it's a very typical layout where there are 8 different colors used. That is to say, there's 2 shades of yellow, 2 shades of turquoise, 2 shades of blue, or purple rather, and 2 shades of rose. And they might not show up that color on your phone or computer. That's one of the notorious things with our technology. The color doesn't show up the same on everyone's device. Either way, so it can be laid out either with the light color on the left side and the dark on the right, or vice versa. So this is one that uses, as I say, 8 colors. Typical of the Love's Blossom is that it has 12 points. And that's where we're going to be starting our design as well. So that's one type of layout. Now this one, still the 12 points, but it only uses 6 colors. Again, 2 shades of each of those colors. And with this one, what I did was I only picked out a blue, a red, and a green. And for my secondary color, I just mixed some white in until I got the shade that I liked. And now with this one, as you can see, the dark shade is on the left side and the lighter one on the right. And really the only difference that makes is the movement. When you look at these, they do tend to have, it pulls your eye in different directions. One aspect of this you might notice with using 6 colors is that if you just concentrate on the red, for example, it kind of creates a square with having those 3. If we just quickly go back to the one that has 8 colors, and if we look at, say, the turquoise, you can see it forms a triangle. So I'll just show you one last. This is kind of a variation on it which has less movement to it. It only uses 3 colors, and it also eliminates the split that we saw in each of these sections on the earlier 2 examples. All right, so if you've watched some of my other videos, you know one of the first steps that you need to do is to find the center of your board. And the way that I do that, well, let me take a step back. For most designs, you'll need to find the center of the board. Not everyone, but a lot of them. So my method for doing that is to draw 2 diagonal lines from corner to corner. And for the first 2 steps here, I'm going to use pencil, but then I'm going to switch to marker, so you should be able to see them a little bit better. So that then establishes what is the middle of your board. The other thing you might notice is that this board, it's an ACM panel, and this one is primed in white. Normally I don't use white primer for my classes, for the boards that I sell, and for custom work, I prime in gray. So this one is primed in white simply for demonstration purposes. So once you've found the middle, then what you need to do is to draw a circle. And I use this protractor. I just picked this up, actually I found it on Facebook Marketplace, but I mean they do have them on Amazon as well. And it basically, this slides along. You can tighten it or loosen it depending on where you want to have it. And so you'll put this in the middle where your intersection is, and then you'll adjust it accordingly. Now before I did that, I always make a little bit of a hole, usually with a tack or a nail. Today I have a nail. Now this won't harm your board, so I put a little bit of a divot in there, just enough to hold that nail in place. And this has a suction cup on the back, but I've poked a hole through it, and then that allows me to put the nail through there and put it in that hole so that it will stay steady when I draw my circle. So a nice long nail like this works well, because then you can put it through, put it in the hole, and put it in place. And then you'll go over here and adjust this so that you can use either hole. It's got 2. You can use either one, and then tighten it down. And you're just looking through the hole to make sure that it's still on the board so that you don't overshoot your circle. So once it's tight, it won't move, and you'll be able to draw without hitting the my camera stand. I'm going to back up a bit here. So we'll draw and we'll go all the way around. So it's always good to test it this way first to make sure your path is indeed clear. All right. So then you put your pencil in that hole. And again, this part, the pencil part, is just for these 2 initial steps, and then we will switch to markers so you can see that a little bit better. All right. Now I should also point out that you don't necessarily need a protractor to draw the circle. When I first started out, I took an old yardstick, and just whenever I wanted to draw a circle, I would determine how big I wanted it, and I would just drill a hole in my wooden yardstick and then draw the circle from there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to overlay these 2 cross marks that I drew previously to find the middle, and just going to show you the ruler I'm going to be using for this. If you're a quilter, you may likely have one like this on hand. Actually, I'll show you the difference between this one and this one here. So For the Love's Blossom, we're going to be using a 30-degree angle. And so this ruler has it, and it runs from, I don't know, about a third of the way down. This is a 24-inch by 8.5-inch ruler. And so it runs from the 15-inch mark down to the 0-inch. So this would work for drawing your 30-degree angles. However, you'd basically be drawing one line at a time versus this ruler, which has the angles starting at the 12-inch or the middle of the ruler, and then you've got your 15, 30, 45, and 60. And so for this, again, we'll be using the 30, but we can also utilize the 60 to draw the lines, because that's how far, what the angle is between each of the, what we're going to call spokes. So we're going to need 12 spokes to make the 12 points of the Love's Blossom. So to start with, I'm just going to with a marker, go over top of the lines that's already there. Now keep in mind, if you were painting this, you would not use a marker. I'm simply using a marker for demonstration purposes. So for the spokes, I'm going to do them in black. By the time we get to the end of this, I think the middle is going to look quite convoluted, but it'll definitely give you an idea of how to, you'll have a better grasp of how to draw this pattern. And it's really, it's one of those patterns I feel that looks, looks more complicated than it really is. I've actually drawn out, well, I've lost track of how many I've drawn out for customers who have tried it from either reading instructions or watching a video, and they just get too frustrated. So after I taught a class on it, everyone says, well, you better do a video on this, because I didn't think it'd be that easy. So now we have basically 4 quadrants or 4 spokes. So we need to find the ones that are in between at the 30-degree angle to fill it in. So what we're going to do is, this ruler, as you can see, has that meeting point at the 12-inch where all the angles are. So we're going to take the 30-inch one, or sorry, the 30-degree one, and line it up with one of the lines we've already drawn. And this needs to line up with the middle. So we're not measuring anything, just to be clear here. The circle is whatever size the circle is. It could be, this one's probably just under 24 inches, I don't know. But it could be 20, whatever. It really doesn't matter. It's all about these initial spokes and the degrees. So now we're going to draw a straight line from that outer edge of the circle through the middle, and then stop at this outer edge of the circle. So now you can see how that allowed me to draw 2 spokes with this ruler, as opposed to, if you have this one, it will work, but you'll be marking. So if we put the 30 here, it doesn't go all the way to the edge, if you see what I mean. This 30 only goes to here and back. So we'll continue around, and you can use the line you just drew to align it with the 30 degrees and this 30 degrees over here. So they'll be right underneath there. You'll draw another line again from the edge of the circle through the middle and stopping at the edge of this circle. So now we have basically 2 quadrants filled in with our spokes. So we just have these ones to do over here. And again, we're lining up that 30-degree from the outside to the middle. You can also use the 90-degree to line up over there, just to help really align things if you're not sure if you've got it quite right. And this is actually, as I mentioned, this is the key component to this. Once you have these spokes laid out, the rest is nothing but drawing straight lines and no measuring. So again, we line up the 30, and I'm using the 30 and the 60 over here to make sure I've got it in the right position. And I hope I'm not blocking too much of the view with reaching over here and whatnot. All right, so we now have 12 spokes. And so the rest of your pattern is based off of these points and drawing straight lines. So I'm going to switch from a black marker to, well, we'll go with green, and hopefully there's enough variation between it that you'll be able to see the difference. So now what we're going to do is use the rule of 4, I call it. So we can start at any spoke, and you'll start at this end and you'll count over 4. So just make sure you can see me there. So if we put our finger here and count over 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to line our ruler, and it can be anything. It can be a ruler, it can be a straight edge. It doesn't really matter. We're going to line it up so those 2 points are at the edge of the ruler. All right. And then we will draw a line from that point, from the point of this spoke until we hit the next spoke, and then we stop. Likewise over here, you can start at the point of the spoke and draw your line in until you hit the next spoke and stop. So don't go straight across. It does happen because you're so tempted to draw a line all the way across. So then from there, you just continue around the board, lining up. So we were here, we just moved 1 over, likewise. So you just keep moving around the board. You don't even have to recount, because you count, as long as you counted right the first time, then you'll know you're going from this one to the 4th spoke. So again, from the end till you intersect, till you run into the next spoke, till you run into the next spoke. Again, my tripod is going to get in the way here. So let's see here. And if you're not sure, just double check. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we're on track. So now you'll see from here, oops, you're going to start intersecting with the other ones that you drew before. So this one, we're going to stop at the spoke, and you can see it intersects with this one, that green line going up there. And the first couple times you do this, don't worry if you don't have it exact. That happens. And if you've made a few barn quilts, you know that you have opportunities to correct your lines, right? When you're drawing it, when you're taping it, and then when sorry, there we go. So you just want to stop at the spoke. So from the spoke out to the end. All right, so you can see a couple have intersected now. I'm really having to reach here in order to keep this in your camera view for you. So even though it looks like they're crossing over themselves. They're not crossing over the black main spokes. So again, keep in mind you want to stay at the spoke. So the first couple times you do this, you might want to do it with colored crayons, just so you can color code as you go, like we've done with this demonstration. Because some people do, I use pencil to draw out my patterns, and some people use pencil crayons, and that's quite all right too, either or. And I also find that you don't need to erase your pencil lines. A lot of people get really fussed about having to erase them, but your lines should be, on your pattern, should be wherever 2 colors meet. And so in my experience, wherever your 2 colors meet, those lines just disappear in the shadow of the 2 paints that you're painting on either side of it. So we're almost all the way around here. And you can start to see the pattern developing. And really, this is the trickiest part, is remembering to stop at that spoke, especially when you start to get these other lines in here, because then you can think, oh, was that the spoke? But remember, the spokes come straight out from the middle, and so that's your clue to stop. You can go right over top of the other ones because they are a part of your design. All right, one more. And again, to be clear, I haven't measured anything here because it really doesn't matter how big the circle is. This is just geometrically, it works out. All right, so now that we have those ones drawn out, we have those two pairs of each of the points. You can see those now. And what we can do from this point, these little fins that we see in here now, we can cut these in half, and that will give us, I'll just grab one of the other ones here just to quickly show you. So as you can see, these little fins here, we've gotten these sections. So this triangle is this triangle, I guess it's not triangle, sorry. So this section here is that one there. And now we're gonna work on these little fins in the middle because these need to be split in half. And so again, it's just a matter of drawing straight lines. Let's do this in blue. So with this, what you're going to do, because we've created these little, where the green lines meet, the ones that you drew around the outer edge to connect the four, we're going to just draw from there through the middle and to this one. So in theory, if you line up the two peaks on either side, it should automatically go through the middle. Like that. And it's cut in half. And so then we'll just continue around the board, right at each of those peaks. And as you can see, the middle right now is getting pretty congested with lines. Obviously, if you're using pencil or pencil crayons, there'll be finer lines. These are little fat lines that you wouldn't typically have. That's why it's looking rather busy in the middle. All right, so this will be the last one. All right, so now we have all the inner stuff split. So the last step then is to make the squares. So just refer back to this one again. So where this, the two shades together in between the outer points and the inner points is a square. And it is quite easy. Again, we're going to use that rule of 4. I'm going to do this in red. So for this one, we are going from where the spoke intersects with the 2 points that come in. All right. So not the fins that we just split, but the edge of the fin, I guess you might say. So we're going to start at this one, and we want to go over 4, and we're going to count like so. Here's one angle of the square, and so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is the 4th one we want to connect to. All right, so when you put your ruler down, it's a straight line from that corner, and we're going to stop at the where we split the fins, right? So it's just a short line to there, and then this one goes from where we split the fin to that point. And then we're going to keep working our way around the board. And again, you don't need to recount, just just move over 1 on each of them. And definitely doing it in color the first couple times you do it will help you keep things organized. And it doesn't matter which side. I'm just doing this. You can do it either this way to draw those 2 lines or this way on either side. Normally I stand up and do it, but I'm trying to sit down so that you can get the most viewing possible rather than me being towering over top of it. So now you can see this one here. Our first line was this one here, this line and this line. And now that we've moved around the board, we've got the second one going that way, and it has created that square. Now we have a second square, and we'll just keep going around, doing all these straight lines that intersect with the fin and the outer point. And again, even though I'm using a ruler, I'm not measuring anything. This is just straight lines, and it's a geometric pattern. So once you connect all the dots, so to speak, it works out. So we're almost all the way around, so you can see each of these has a square. I overshot this one a little bit, but no biggie. I mean, if you're using your pencils, you can erase that. And obviously with your tape, you can correct it when you're taping as well. And the key thing is just to stop at that where you split the fins. You overshoot it, that can happen. Yeah, so there we have it. So pretty straightforward. If you have any questions, by all means, pop them in the comment section. I'm really good about keeping an eye on the comments and getting back to people. If you have a pattern that you would like to see drawn out, by all means, pop me a message and let me know. I'll do my best to do that. This one was one that I wanted to show everyone because it looks so complicated, yet I find it quite easy. And I think if you try this method a couple of times, you'll get the hang of it and be more comfortable with it as well. Thank you so much for watching.